Assuming the governor signs the bill into law, our elections will look a lot differently than they did in years past, but very similar to the 2020 general election. But you can opt out if you don't want to mail ballot. Paul Nelson joins us here in the studio with more. And Paul, you've been covering this from the beginning. A pretty controversial bill.
Yeah, it was, Kristen, and a big reason why is because of the concerns over integrity of the elections. After all, there were many allegations of voter fraud, but the Secretary of State's office says there were only a small number of isolated incidents. The bill's sponsor says this new system will offer options and security.
When the next election rolls around, you might fill out your ballot from home and mail it in. Universal mail ballots like we saw in the 2020 general election will stick around. Every active voter will receive one unless they opt out.
I think that Nevadans deserve choices. For those that want to vote in person, they still can. But for those that want to use the drop box or use the mail, they can do that as well.
AB 321 passed without any Republican support. It comes after reports of duplicate ballots, delivery to wrong addresses, and mail theft. But Frierson says frequent updates to voter rolls and increased penalties for fraudulent voting will make elections more secure.
We made sure that our election officials were going to have forensic training annually to make sure that they know how to do the process of checking and verifying signatures. We shortened the time for results so that the public could get results in elections faster.
Opponents say if it's not broke, don't fix it, especially because projections to implement the system for the upcoming biennium are more than $13 million and similar costs in the future.
Everyone was more than willing to get a mail-in ballot, but to just give it to everybody, I don't know, it just seemed like a waste of resources for the state of Nevada and creates questions about the integrity of the system.
The presidential nominating process will be a lot different too. Instead of a caucus, we'll have a presidential primary. The election will happen on the first Tuesday of February. For now, Nevada will be the first state to vote.
That was, again, another process that I think not only helped Nevada as far as allowing us to be heard and have a voice, but I think it helps candidates speak to a diverse population.
I have no objection to the concept of moving to a primary, but we should have moved up the whole system because now you're going to have 3 elections.
And of course, those would be the presidential primary, the party primary election in June, and the general election in November. Automatic voter registration will be available through more state and tribal agencies, and a provision that would allow an option to vote a straight ticket for partisan races died. Covering the story live in the studio, Paul Nelson, 2 News.